Hey guys, I'm Common Ramen here. I like to do videos on solo games that travel well, because I used to have to travel a lot, and I feel for people out there that have to. Um, so I like to put emphasis on games that you can take with you if you're a big gamer like I am, um, so that I don't know, so that you can get your gaming fix without having to have a group with you. And also, the footprint of the box is so small that it can be brought without taking up too much room, because it's very important when it comes to luggage. So I was able to get a hold of what I would consider my grail game as far as solo games is concerned. It's called SOS Titanic. I believe it came out in 2012. I might be wrong on that. It's been a while. It was produced by Ludonaut, and I think it only had one printing, and it was wildly popular, and it sold out very quickly. And there was going to be a second printing, I believe, with Game Salute. I do remember at one point in time, Game Salute had this up on their website as a second edition, but then nothing came of it. And um, I believe that is because Ludonaut was bought up by Asmodee at some point in time during that particular point, and this was one of the games that just got lost with time. When Asmodee runs through and buys game game producing companies, they tend to offload um, lesser known titles, and they just kind of get lost to time. So this became very difficult to find for a decent price. A lot of people, because it was out of print, were selling it on any numerous amount of platforms for a ridiculous price, like sometimes hundreds of dollars. So I was lucky and I was able to actually find this very close to retail. Somebody sold their copy for very close to retail. And I mean, not without reason. There's some, box damage here, some wear all around the box, cornering, stuff like that. So the game was well loved, and even on the cards, which I'll go over real quick here. Um, the main cards. Let's see if I have a good example. You can see side. Oh, that's not a good. There we go. Side wear on these cards. So this game was well loved, and it's going to continue to be well loved because like I said, this is my Grail game. For those of you who don't know what a Grail game is, it refers to the quest for the Holy Grail. It's a game that you don't think you're ever going to get on your shelf because there's difficulties around acquiring it. Some people have Kingdom Death on their list of Grail games because it's a legit $450 game. Others have out of print games that are just very difficult to find in good condition. This was one for me, just because this game for around $150, $180 is not a good price tag. I don't know. That's just my thought on that. So I wanted to take a look at it really quickly. I'm not going to go into great detail about it, but I do want to go through an unboxing here really quick, just so everyone can see this. This is a game that you can play solo. It can also be played cooperatively. But really, when I was going over the Under Falling Skies game, it was the same concept where you could play it solo, but you could play it cooperatively. But there's really no point in playing it cooperatively because really all it is at that point is two people making decisions about the same thing. The difference here is that the more people that play, the more of these crew members that you'll get. So that's the rule book. You guys can pause through that if you want to see what the rules are. This is the Titanic itself throughout the stages of its sinking. So it's based off the historical Titanic. Obviously, it's not going to be completely accurate or even close, but um, you can see as the Titanic's sinking. If you get to the end page, that is the end. That means that the game is over, regardless of where you are. And the whole point here is that you're trying to save passengers. The more you save, the more points you get at the end. So this is your last chance, and then when you get here, that's it, game over. Take a look at the passengers here. It was classist. Obviously, they had their first class priority, then they had their first class, and then they had their second class priority, and then they had their second class. And so there's 4 suits in here. If I remember correctly, the anchors are the priority. So this is first class. This is second class priority. There's a first class priority. So that's the different suits. It goes up to, in second class, up to the number 17. In first class, I believe it goes up to the number 15 or 13. I don't remember. And you have to save the passengers by doing something similar to that of Solitaire, except everything has to be the same suit. Whereas in Solitaire, you're doing red, black, alternating. In this one, they all have to be sequential anchors or sequential non-anchors of the same color. So yellow anchors in sequence, purple non-anchors in sequence, so on and so forth. And you have to have, so the lifeboats in this are the aces. Okay. And whenever you get the lifeboat, you can do exactly in Solitaire, where you just put it up to the top and slowly but surely funnel the guests in sequential order. So 2, then 3, then 4 onto that lifeboat. And then, eventually they'll get through, with the obvious caveat being that as you're playing, the lifeboat is sinking in real time. These represent the water cavities at the bottom of the boat, and so you have to make sure that you're doing this before all of the cavities fill with water and then sink. Now, like I mentioned before, the more players you have, the more of these special crew members you will receive, which are denoted at the top right here. You're going to see this is for single player, single player, single player, single player, single player, single player, and then it jumps. If you want to use these crew members, you have to have at least 2 players, and then if you want to use this crew member, you have to have at least 3 players, and they all have special abilities that they have, because Solitaire is stacked against you in all cases, so this kind of gives you a little bit of an edge. And then there's also these ability cards that are supposed to be very powerful, and you use these when you're stuck, basically. And the part where the game progresses is when you can't do anything during your turn. If you can't do anything during your turn, the boat begins to sink, and so you want to keep trying to make sure that you're able to continuously save passengers or take actions or something to that effect. When you're flipping cards, unlike in normal Solitaire, this little number here tells you how many cards you can flip from the deck, and so you can actually say, I'm only going to flip 1 card this time. But no matter how many cards you flip, you have to be able to use, well, you can only use one of them, but you have to be able to use one of them. So if you only flip the 1 card and it's something that you cannot use, then that counts as a not used action, and therefore the boat sinks some more. So you have to be really careful about it. This guy can do up to 3 cards. This guy can actually do up to 6. So you're trying to mix together the use of actions, how many cards you should be drawing, like what's the sweet spot, what are you looking at as far as sequences, how many people can you get off the boat like right now, how many people are you going to lose if it continues to sink, so on and so forth, to try and come up with the best score you can. I don't know why I really fell in love with the game. I think it's just because I really love solitaire. So when this game first came out, it really was something I was super interested in. But it does have a lot of elements of solitaire mixed with some stuff to give you an edge to try and help you get through it. But at the end of the day, it's still stacked against you. So that is SOS Titanic. It is, like I said, it's very difficult to find for a decent price. It's not 120 or 150 like it was when it first went out of print. I think there was even times where it jumped up to 180. I think you can find a copy on Board Game Geek, which is the only place that I've been able to find it anymore, for about 80, which is well over the retail price. But I don't think you'll ever find a copy of it at its retail value anymore. But it is a really interesting game, and I think that if you do like playing solo games, or you do end up traveling a lot, and you like to have something with you to kind of get that board game itch, this is a great game to have with you. It is very challenging, and like I said, it can be played co-op, but it's mostly at that point just a lot of conversation about what action each person should take and what is the best option at that particular point in time, which is very much like Under Falling Sky. So anywho, if you have any comments, leave them below and I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. And yeah, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.